This tutorial is going to go over the notes on the first string, and this is on page 6 in your book. And here's where we start doing our note reading. Just making sure it's the right page. Okay, so at the top it says notes on the first string. Remember, your first string should sound like, and it's this one here. Now remember, because we're doing finger to string assignment, you're always going to be plucking these 3 notes for now, the E, F, and G on page 6, with the ring finger of the right hand, because we're sticking to this technique for now. So any note on the first string is going to be plucked with that ring finger. And I recommend planting the thumb on the 6th string to give your hand a nice stable position. And then you can just pluck with that ring finger and it'll keep your hand nice and anchored. Okay, back to page 6. So we have notes on the first string. And in your book, you will see that we've got the treble clef. Now you've already gone through the note reading module in Canvas, so you should understand what these notes mean. Okay, so looking at the notes on the staff, you'll see this is an E. You already know that. The spaces are F, A, C, E. What we're adding now is, well, where do we play that E on the guitar? And you're going to learn that right now. You're going to memorize that whenever you see this E on the staff, you're going to play first string open. Now, this diagram, just to make sure you understand it, is the neck of the guitar like this. It's a cutaway of the first 3 frets. The thick line at the top is this nut, okay? And so that means that on your far left is the 6th string, 5th string, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and this is your 1st fret, 2nd fret, and 3rd fret. Okay, so looking at that diagram on page 6, it points to right here, which means you're going to play this first string, and you're going to play it without pressing any fret. You're going to play it at 0, which is to play just by itself. In other words, not pressing down anywhere, just plucking it by itself. Okay? So that's what this means when it's pointing to open right there. Okay? Open string means the string by itself without pressing down the left hand. Okay, now we go to the F. Well, you've already learned where that note is. It's on the 5th line of the staff. And you maybe learned every good body does fine, or however you wanted to memorize that. And so that F note is going to be, you're going to memorize now, played on the 1st string, but now pressing down in the 1st fret. So now, whenever we see this F on the staff, we have to memorize that, okay, we're going to play this area on the guitar. I'll show you. So that means now, again, we're going to pluck with this ring finger of the right hand, but now we're going to press down in the 1st fret on the guitar. So I'm going to use my 1st finger. I want to play right on the tip of the finger, not flat, but on the tip of the finger. I want to use my thumb to squeeze so that I'm getting leverage, and I'm going to pluck while I hold it down. So E is open, F is 1st fret, and you do have to squeeze and press kind of hard, okay? E, F, E, F. Whenever you're playing in a fret, notice if I turn this way, notice I'm not playing in the middle of the fret. You hear that sound? The optimal place to play in any fret, and this is true of any fretted instrument, mandolin, banjo, guitar, electric bass, is to play just behind the fret wire. Then you don't have to press as hard and you get a clearer sound. If I go this way in the fret, you'll hear that rattle. So always aim to the right of the fret, in the right of the fret. Okay, so that's our F. So we've got E and F. Then lastly, we're gonna do the G. You already know, maybe, from the module. Did it cover that? No, the module ends at F, but if we keep going higher up the staff, the next note is G. So The G note in treble clef sits on top of that fifth line. There it is. So you want to memorize for guitar that that G note is played on first string, 3rd fret now. And you see that that has a 3 in the circle. That means, if you go back to page 4, we're using the left hand labels, which it's time to talk about now. For the left hand, 1 is your index, 2 is your middle, 3 is your ring finger, and 4 is your pinky. So these are the fingers that we're using to play notes on the frets on the guitar. Your thumb is always going to be behind the neck, and your thumb ideally is right about behind your middle finger. So you're getting pressure or leverage to squeeze down. You'll see people play with their thumb way over the neck. If you're playing an electric guitar, that may be okay, but you're going to get more leverage and more strength in your hand by having the thumb behind the neck, because that way you're taking advantage of the strongest muscle in your hand, which is your thumb muscle, okay? If your hand is over like that, you're pressing here, which is the weakest part of your hand. So thumb behind the neck is ideal. So if we play these notes, we have E is open, F is 1st fret, G is 3rd fret. You may leave this finger down when you play the 3rd fret because only what's closest to your right hand that's pressed down is gonna sound. So if I do this, the guitar sound isn't affected by what I put to the left of what I'm pressing down. Now it changes, but that won't change if I lift that off because it's sounding from this note. Okay, so E, F, G. Your job is to memorize those notes as soon as possible. The next thing we're going to do is to count through, and I want you to play through all of these exercises on pages 6 and 7 in the book. Okay, and I'm going to go through a few of these right now, and you can practice and play along with these. All right, the first thing to notice is that for number 1 here, these are all going to be notes on the first string, since those are the only notes we're dealing with are E, F, and G. So each 3 of these notes is one of the notes from above. And your job is to have memorized when you see this note on the staff, you play first string open. When you see this note on the staff down here, you play first string 1st fret. When you see this note, you play first string 3rd fret. So it's telling you what to play here. I strongly encourage you to not write in the letter names or locations of the notes. If you do that, you're not going to be memorizing the notes. So this is the hard part of the class where you have to start memorizing the notes. It's going to take daily practice. It's going to take a lot of repetition, but it's going to be worth it because by the end of the class, you'll be able to read music, which is a big accomplishment. So be patient, work on it some every day. Here we go. All right, I'm looking at number 1 on page 6, and I'm going to walk you through it. Those notes in number 1 are whole notes. How do you know? Well, they're hollow and no stem. That means they each get 4 counts. That symbol above, you're going to disregard for now because this is, if you're playing with a pick, that symbol means you use a downstroke of the pick. Remember, we're playing fingerstyle, so all of these notes on page 6 and 7, we are plucking just with the ring finger of the right hand, okay? Back to number 1. This is 4/4 time. That means every measure is going to add up to 4 quarter notes. The quarter note is the unit of count, and every measure is a group of 4 counts. I'm going to count in number 1, and you can listen to it and follow along, and then you can try playing it with me. Here we go. Number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to number 2. Now these are half notes. How do you know? They are hollow with a stem. They each get 2 counts. This is in your reading music module from week 1. You can review that if you have questions about this. It's also in your book on page 5, a little summary of what these symbols mean. So we're still in 4/4 time, but because we're using half notes, we are playing every other beat. Each half note gets 2 counts. All right, follow along with number 2. It's the same 3 notes. And when you're doing these exercises, try not to memorize them. They're easy to memorize now, but we want you to always be looking at the page when you are note reading. Always be looking at the staff and force your fingers to find their way without looking at them. I know that seems impossible at first. You're going to have to just force yourself to do that, and it will get much easier, and you will be able to just do it by feel where you are on the neck. Okay, here's number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice it does stay on that G note there in that measure, so you may have been expecting it to go to the F again, but it actually stays on the G, then goes to the F, to the E. All right, number 2, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and number 3. Now we're using quarter notes. So these ones are every beat you're playing, because quarter notes get 1 count. They're filled in note head with a stem. And it's the same 3 notes, all plucked with the ring finger of the right hand. And again, when you're playing the F note, you should be using, like the chart above indicates, your first finger. When you play the G note, you should be using the 3rd finger. Remember, we're skipping the 2nd fret for now. That's a note we haven't learned yet, but we will later on. So now it's, for now, again, it's E is open, F is 1st fret, G is 3rd fret. Okay, here's number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we'll turn the page. I'm just going to do one from this page, and I want you to do the rest of these exercises on your own. When you get to number 7 and 8, just remember that when you get to the end of this line, because there's no double bar line, you're going to go automatically to the next line. Double bar line means you stop. Same thing with number 8. It's longer, so you get to here. You just keep going down the page until you see that double bar line. That means the end. All right, let's do number 4 at the top of the page. And same 3 notes, same technique with right hand and with left hand. Again, with right hand, I encourage you to rest your thumb and plant it there. Don't rest the pinky here. Keep it free. This thumb being planted will keep your hand in a nice, stable position. Make sure to keep your eyes on the music. Don't look at your hand. You've got to force yourself to feel your way around the neck. But believe me, that will become easy after a while. So it's a little tricky at first. Okay, here we go with number 4. These are all quarter notes except the last note, which is a whole note. So I'll count in 4, and then you can play along with me. Here is number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good.